right, welcome Brick World family. We've got some viewers already. M is for Mark is away on vacation, but some people I think it's the golden show when Mark's away because then I get to bring Jesse in. Here we are. Think Outside the Blocks, our weekly live stream where we talk about thinking outside your mental blocks and the rigid structure of the Lego medium to build all kinds of great creations. And Jesse just sped in here um, from vacation out ice fishing, as Minnesotans do, or
Yeah.
even adopted Minnesotans, as it were. And so here you are, fresh from your ice fishing trip. Did you catch anything, Jesse?
No, it was a
Oh.
bust. We're out in the middle of the day. I think it's too cold. Like this, it's starting to warm up, but like 0 degrees up there is. I mean, you're in a hut. It's got a heater. You can turn it on and off. You got little chairs and stuff. They weren't biting. I don't know if we knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
I was
Well, I
up there
mean,
for like
it's
a good
yeah.
hour plus.
Okay. Well, catching the fish is only part of the adventure.
Right.
Uh, the other part is, of course, trying to catch the fish, sitting around, telling stories, listening to country radio. I don't even know what they play in the ice fishing house.
We had a
But
playlist, like ice fishing playlist, and
oh,
I forget what was on there. She was cold as ice, something like that.
I see.
Some classic rock stuff.
Okay, well, maybe got to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's see. We've got some people from the Tainted. Rob's already here, saying hello to
Yeah.
everyone in the cold weather and giving special shout outs to us. Let's see. Lego Team B, all the way down in Australia, where of course right now it's basically summer for them.
Tainted.
And you were telling me they're already starting the convention season down there in Australia.
Yeah, I'd be curious if Lego Team B was out there. Brickvention, I think, is the short of their convention. And I think it's the big one in their continent. So it looked like they had some Lego Masters there. Dawn, Miss Slobrickto was out there. She's usually in our chat. Hey, this guy's here.
Hi.
Talking about other conventions, sorry, but it's on the other side of the globe, so I think it's not really competitive.
Yeah,
It's all good.
you're on a boat. What are you doing stopping
am.
by? Aren't you supposed to be vacationing?
Yeah, we just finished dinner and we have an hour till our next thing to do. So I figured I'd jump on for a second.
Okay.
I don't know how
say
good
howdy at least.
Yeah, I'm not sure how good the Wi-Fi is going to be here in the middle of the ocean. So
Wow.
but here we are.
Globetrotting.
Okay. So where are you in the ocean? Where do you have some tracking app where I can see where you are?
I do actually. So it's not doing too well because the boat is moving, but we're in the Caribbean Sea. Okay. And let's see if I can give my longitude and latitude. Currently at, hold on, I'll wait for it to load. So what convention were you talking about on the other side of the globe?
The one in Australia, Brickvention.
Okay.
Lego Team B, of course. It's summer for him. You're in the Caribbean. Jesse was just up ice fishing. We're globetrotting, and we have all of the continent and world covered with all the extremes, from the extreme heat in Australia's summertime to the Caribbean Sea to ice fishing, all covered in one day here.
So the first 4 minutes.
The first 4 minutes, we've been to all these exotic locales.
Well, because and like you always talk about the Lego community, but like when you go worldwide like that, it needs a new name, maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Lego Team B is cautioning you that Lego always says boat does not float. So hopefully you're on one that is floating.
M for monstrosity.
So we're just north of Curacao.
Okay.
And then southwest of Puerto Rico. We're halfway between Puerto Rico and Curacao, basically. And
your final destination's Puerto Rico this time or somewhere else? Where are you stopping first?
Aruba is first.
Aruba.
And then Willemstad in, I don't know, Dominica? No. That's someone. We're going other places too, yes.
You're gone. You got at least a week out there, over a week.
And Rob Claxton says he's
Pending.
starting his Lego convention season at Atlanta BrickCon.
That's
Nice.
true. They had one. Yeah.
So that sounds warm, down in Hotlanta, where they don't care that it's January.
Right.
Well, a little surprised that we got to see Mark on his
I'm here.
his adventure. What are we talking about this week? M is for Mark's away, but only sort of.
Mark's here.
He's here as well. We're going to talk some MOCs. We're going to talk March releases, because now that we're past the first of the year, we're already looking forward to March. At least I am, and I know Mark is. Let's see if Jesse is too. Let's talk about some of the new molds that we've seen. Maybe some of them aren't actually new, but new to us.
It's spelled in the European way too.
The European version.
European molds.
And then we have a mystery version. I didn't want anyone to think we were talking about like black mold or green mold.
Yeah.
I want to talk about European mold.
Good.
Then we have a mystery topic that Jesse is going to be in charge of.
Ooh.
And then we'll talk about the Brick World season starting. We're going to be in Milwaukee in April.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about that too.
And we'll be in Indianapolis before that even.
So. Well, the first one I'm going to is Milwaukee, and it starts with M. So that's why we're talking about that one. But yes, indeed, the other side of the river, as I like to call it, the Great Lakes, the part I can't get to.
Yeah.
That's its own thing. That's Mark's thing. I'm focused here on this side of the Big Lake, Michigan. I'm from Michigan.
The Western Midwest, the Upper Midwest.
The Upper Midwest. So
looks like you did a lot of work this week. Yeah.
We can start with some MOCs. So let me pull up my what I've been working on, which of course is the Spider Mech. Nice. We can solo this bad boy here. Got a little more work done on it here. Let's make sure that I don't disconnect anything when I move this thing. There we go. We're loosened up now. As you guys can see, I made some work on the midsection, which is what I've been a little behind on. But now you can see we've got the armor cladding as well as some greebles going on up here in the middle. And then I wanted to make sure it could still stand. So we've got all 8 legs connected with the new reinforced joints. So now we can see that as well, that we have all of our legs on now too.
Yeah. Wow.
We're still missing some pieces. Sorry for all the motion sickness here. You're on a boat, Mark. You're really not going to like that.
Damn, all good. It's kind of matching what I'm feeling. So
yeah,
not messing with me at all. Bill Bartley reminds us that Brick World India is in March. Yes, thank you as much. Very much for that. I remembered to say that.
Yes,
as
you
well.
did.
Rob Claxton says that Atlanta BrickCon starts in February, so he hopes it's warmer in 2 weeks. I wish you good luck with that, sir. It does not look like we're going to have any huge heat waves coming into the Midwest anytime soon, or into the U.S. really at all anytime soon. But it's in Atlanta, so it should be at least decent. Brick Orphan says the panning shot looked like it got the Alderon treatment. Look like it got blown up a little bit.
This mount, I try to tighten it up so it doesn't flop around a bunch, but then it's too hard to move. So you kind of got to do both.
Yeah.
So here's where we are. It's actually standing on 7 legs. You'll see one of the legs I have up in the air over here, just to show that we still got a little bit of headroom. But next we have to move to the centerpiece. I'm getting something on my rotating head here. But this is sort of the shape that I've gotten here. I'm not fully greebled out yet. These will be some headlights or spotlights of some variety.
Yeah. Nice.
But that's kind of where we are. The other thing I know you've been looking forward to, Mark, is finding out whether or not I'm going to add some sort of forward-facing arms or something off the front as well.
Some fangs.
Or some fangs or some somethings. We don't know yet. But I do have a little bit of space there for it. Bill asked what goes on the turntable. Well, that's where the head of the mech will go. If we compare to the older insectoid mech, that's sort of the inspiration for the chonkification here.
Yep, chonkify.
We can see the old one on its turntable.
Yep.
So it'll have some semblance or some resemblance to that as well. But when you can see them both together, you can see how much larger chunkify my mech is here with 8 legs now.
Yes.
With the body being essentially twice the size.
Quite chunkified for sure.
There we go. We got some focus on there. So
you're happy with the articulation you're getting from the legs, then I take it.
So far, yeah. I mean, it doesn't instantly collapse on itself, which is good. Kind of, you can shake it around a little, and it still stays up. You know, I don't have the weight of the head yet, but I did start some of the greebling, and it's still not stressing the joints out so much that it collapses. So
Good.
Hopefully we'll get there.
Success there for sure.
Yep. So that's where we are with it. It was most of the progress was just today, but it's going pretty well. I definitely have a lot of dark gray to play with on the Greeble side. You can see I've got a nice big pile of parts over here in my chosen color scheme there to sort of work in for the Greebling.
I like the Greebling that you've got going on the top there. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, I think I need to hide some more of the dark red up here with some more tiles.
Yeah.
I'll get to that to match this. This is actually already dark gray in the middle there.
I really like the saw blades.
So that helped. So yeah, the little saw blades.
Cool. Yeah, looks like you had fun there.
Yeah, lots of things that we're trying to work on, and there's not just regular gray, but also some of this dark pearl color as well,
and that
some of the lighter gray. So kind of everything. Yep.
Yeah, nice.
Yep. So we're working on chonkifying, that's for sure.
Looks like your slope work there at the, how it slopes down, and you got some shields.
Oh yes, I've really found this piece and this piece. I really like as armor plating and armor detailing. Some of that on front too, just sort of adds like this extra texture.
Yes.
To everything. So it is something I like playing around with for sure. I'm also fairly satisfied with the way the leg rings turned out as well. I had on the older mech, there was something semi-similar, not quite as rounded. But we've got that shape going as well. And this one's definitely more long and slender compared to the old one, which was a little more square and squatty back there.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
But we'll see how big this head ends up being. That's kind of the one concern I have going right now.
Yeah. I think you are going to have your work cut out for you when you start building bases.
Yeah, I've got this big old head, and make sure it doesn't look too much like a face, right?
Especially if you are actually looking to fulfill our wish for more interaction with terrain.
Yeah. Yep, when we get to that part.
Double chunkifying the bases.
Yeah, no kidding. So yeah, I mean, I know Jesse once saw this rounded base when I was thinking of putting the other mech on it. Right now, this guy's just standing on it. This base will be used for something else. But yeah, I'm gonna have to build a pretty big base to support this guy if I want it to, look like it's doing something and not just walking around on the tables. And hopefully Milwaukee. Hopefully it should be done for Milwaukee.
MOCs do look better with a brick built landscape or something, even if it's decorative kind of borders and stuff. Or a combination.
Brick Orphanage wants to know if it's supposed to look like a crab mouth on the front.
Well,
quite
not specifically, but yeah, I mean, it does have a bit of a crab mouth type feel down there.
Well, it's a nice spot for some spider fangs for sure, because spider faces are not crab-like.
I got some of these we can throw on there here.
Rob Claxton's saying that he's going to be glad when it warms up down here in the deep south. How cold is it down there right now? I'm just curious.
Single digits.
Is it really?
I don't know. We got all the way up to like 22 today. So
yeah,
what do you think of that?
Heat wave.
I like that.
There you go.
Just what you needed, little fang action there on the bottom.
Yeah, without the head on the third table.
What's that, Jesse? Sorry.
It really looks like a clam or some sort of spider with a face there without nothing on that turntable.
Yeah.
And I think once that's on there, you have to you won't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I think we're having some pareidolia.
Pareidolia?
Pareidolia. Seeing
Pareidolia?
faces in inanimate objects. I think the your spotlights are what's really causing that crab looking.
Big eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, when that actually gets covered and looks like something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna need a little bit of light coming off the front of this guy, so that I can see where it's going in the dark when it's off hunting its prey.
Yeah.
But yeah, we made a little bit of progress. It wasn't a bunch, but greebling brings me joy. So
Wow.
we're gonna keep working on that and see where it ends up.
This is a surprise. It's 16 degrees in Atlanta right now.
Wow.
Or in Georgia. Wherever in Georgia Rob Claxton lives. Yikes.
It's supposed to be in the 50s or 60s.
Yeah, it's not.
So they are running Minnesota temperatures right now.
Yeah, Chicago temperatures too, and it might even be warmer in Chicago for all I know.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not there.
19 degrees here in Minnesota today. So
yeah,
very similar
that is
temp.
bizarre.
Yep.
Apocalyptic, even.
The snowpocalypse. So other than seeing where this continues, do you have any other thoughts on the spider mech?
I'm looking forward to seeing the butt, I guess, is what it is on an actual spider. The rest of that turret portion added to it, but I mean, just like the amount of work you've done since the last time we looked at this, it's looking really complete. And I mean, you've done a lot of work, and we've talked about this step by step a lot along the way. I guess it'd be easier to see the roundness you're getting from those leg covers if you turned it just a little bit, so we could see more of a 45-degree angle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think once you have it covered, just consider that a crab face that Lego Team B pointed out, or Brick Orphanage, whoever did. I don't know why I screw those two people up all the time.
Yeah, well, I think we'll see when the turret's up there if you even notice it. But yeah, I mean, it's always something for you and I in particular to be cognizant of when we tend to see the faces when we're doing the builds.
It's just something that's always bugged me whenever I've built anything. Are you putting on these leg covers? You've got the 1x2 dark red bracket on each one of them. Are they staying like that, or do you have pieces coming to finish that out?
I assume there will be something else attached to it. I don't know what yet.
Perfect.
On the rest of the legs, there's kind of this transition piece that goes like this. I don't know that it will work there, whether or not it'll fit or do the same that it does here. So it might be something else. I'm not sure what it will be yet.
Yeah.
It'll probably be some version of a transition piece. I just don't know what yet.
Yeah.
So we're still working on that.
I like the use of those dark red shields a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks
I don't know, you want to
really
keep
well on this angle.
Yes.
This angled piece at least.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know if you want to keep repeating that on the other parts, but
cool. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. But I think we've got a good shape going. We just need to finish this one off, make sure it's chonkified, and then figure out what to do on the base, which I think will really be telling. Also, I need to add some more hoses and pneumatics and that kind of thing on these legs to make them seem a little more mechanical.
Yeah, I don't think there's gonna be any question that it's chonkified. I mean, this is
right. Yeah,
the chonkification is so far very successful.
Yeah, that was the goal: is chonkify my mech. And then after that, I don't know what I'm going to move on to, but it'll probably be something medieval. I got a start of a base here. It's nothing too spectacular yet, just starting to throw a shape on something.
Cool.
So I can move over to that.
Is it going to have water in it, or do you plan to cover that blue?
No, I'm going to cover that. It just happened to be the color I was using has some blue in the center. But I got some ideas that I'm going to try on this that we talked about for some rock work, and we'll see. We'll see as that develops.
Very cool.
How it goes.
Looking forward to seeing that.
So let's see here. We can exit the full screen.
We can have that for Milwaukee.
Hopefully it will be done for Milwaukee. That's the goal.
Even if the base isn't done, you should probably just bring the mech as is.
Yeah, it will make it with the other chonkified mech, and we'll have at least the chonkified mechs and the September ship in
Oh yeah.
Milwaukee.
Let's see the
So
September ship in person for the first time.
yes, yeah,
That'll be
it's
nice.
large and comes apart into 2 sections. So who knows? Maybe it'll be 2 MOCs on the table instead of 1.
Right.
But I guess we'll see about that one. So Jesse, you got anything you've been working on that you want to show? Or
Yeah, I can spoil a little bit. Let me see if I can turn the camera to this one.
oh, that's that adorable little dragon.
So yeah, I've got
Oh,
that's just
yeah.
the set. So, but the idea is I want to collaborate and everybody build kind of like part of a dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have a base plate with some sort of design here that maybe matches, or maybe you do your own creative dungeon room. So it's going to be loose for people to do a grid pattern like this,
Oh, cool.
or whatever type of wall or door or trap. And then I want people in my Dungeons and Dragons like campaigns to make their own character. So this is when I played a warlock, I had a pact tome thing and would be eldritch blasting characters and stuff. And this style I think is MIDI fig scale. I've seen this guy, Brick Sheepa, and a couple others, where they're like brick building over the, under the head.
Yeah.
What do you think of that guy?
Well, there
That's
you go.
pretty cool. I like that. It gives you a lot more for articulation if you're building characters like that. And the head is, at least with the hood on it, it seems proportional.
Right. Yeah. There's like, I think it started with like Star Wars helmets and stuff and bricking out Boba Fett and whatnot. And now it's kind of come to this baggy pants look.
Yeah.
And other than the, like hopefully baggy pants works for your character. Maybe you're a slim elf or something and need to figure something else out. But this is my first try at that kind of, it's not mini land scale. It's not
Right.
mini fig scale. I believe they're calling it MIDI, MIDI.
Which confuses kind of the Star Wars scale that they have for those mid-sized ships that are somewhere between micro and minifig.
Right.
So
yeah. When you talk about micro and nano, and it's tough. So
Baby Fan Milwaukee says that character is awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think the
I really like
the most iconic thing keeping the word MIDI is that MIDI Millennium Falcon, which became a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're coming out with more ships like that this year too.
So this is like a short gnome style wizard. So just to show people and whoever wants to collab with me, outside of our D&D stuff, people in general have expressed some interest, and I need to get the Discord going to really kick off this thing. But I wanted to have like a working prototype to say, build a base plate, build a wall in the back, build a player, and build a monster, and use your imagination. So
I like that.
Yeah, that nothing about that dragon says monster though. He's just so cute. Just want to give him a little hug.
Yeah.
Well, at this angle, he looks at least a little cranky.
Yeah, maybe a touch, but he's still so cute.
And yeah, it's more like they're training a cranky baby dragon, and he needs a nap.
I like the size of it though, as far as like prototyping a collaboration, right? Like I haven't spoiled too much about what my monster might be, and I can get my friends to start chipping in and chipping away at their progress with something with a Mixel type of scale to say, maybe you want to make something bigger, brick build, even 2 base plates if you need a second one to make it wider.
Yeah, Brick Orphanage says that the figs look great. Certainly not morbidly obese like regular figs. Regular minifigs are unfortunately proportionate.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, I don't think this is the same, but that's my sig fig, which is pretty much like my player character. So I kind of try to build this guy into this scale. But yeah, minifigs are like fat and stout a little bit.
Yeah.
You get used to it. So it looks normal to me,
Right.
and then you see this and you're like,
Same. Yeah. Unlocks your mind a bit.
Yep.
But I think
No.
in a setting where you've got this bigger backdrop, it helps scale it back down to not like this tall baggy pants guy.
Right.
Yeah, I wonder, even with that dragon, even if you gave him different eyes, how much that would just change some of his look. But the giant big eyes, he just makes him look so adorable.
I think that's just a
Yeah.
placeholder for the Demogorgon he's going to surprise us with at some point. That's what he's trying not to spoil. So I don't think it's worth commenting anymore on the dragon. Maybe.
Yeah, well,
just suggesting.
whatever. Mark's a little cranky today. He doesn't want me to talk about the adorable dragon anymore. But
So I disagree with Chris Meeker here. I think it actually is smaller than the old Technic minifigure scale, because the Technic figure was maybe a little bit taller than a Minilander would be.
Yeah, I think and they had a bigger head, right?
Yeah, they had like the old basic figure head. And I don't think anybody else here remembers the Fabuland figures with human heads that came in the basic line for a year. But I keep threatening to bring those out for the live stream, but forgetting to grab them or find them because God only knows where they are.
Did you break their hips too?
I have. I mean, that's basically why I have them, so I can get parts to customize my Fabuland figures. They are made out of the same parts. They have the same body.
Yeah. Well, there are lots of people who remember those creepy figures. Joe Ellen says she does.
Ah, nice.
Fabufan Milwaukee, of course, as well.
Chris Meeker, I'm also that old, so I laugh with you, sir.
Yeah, and Joe Ellen apparently needs one of these creepy figures.
Yep. I will once I get a couple, I will definitely hang on to them for you. At least the heads, because the rest of their bodies might already be taken apart.
Yeah, you don't need the head. You just need the rest of it. So
yeah,
she can have the heads. You can have the bodies.
What do you guys think of the flooring pattern? I kind of wanted to, like represent a grid, playing Dungeons and Dragons on like a map.
I wonder if this is modular, why there's a red stripe around the outside. How are they going to connect together and look like a cohesive dungeon if there's that sort of differentiation between each module size?
That's a good point. I at least for the first prototype, wanted people to see like for down in here anyway that it's the thickness of 9 plates top to bottom. So I just used red to kind of make that indistinguishable instead of a bunch of gray bricks. And I had a lot of those sand green 16 by 16 plates. So
Brick Orphanage is asking, will you add a wall and a door between the adjacent dungeon models? Yeah, and I had a question similar as well. Are they going to just stand in a line and just be adjacent to each other, or is there going to be an opportunity to kind of fill out and be like 3 columns by 3 rows or something like that?
Yeah, I think there is, and that's where I could use some advice. I don't know that I want to box the whole thing in. But it could certainly have side doors, side wall, boxing it in, or maybe one side if everybody did one side. If you did one wall, but then didn't finish the other side of it.
Yeah. Well, and you could turn your dungeon module into a dungeon maze module if people were able to build walls on a certain side, like if they wanted the entrance to the trap to be on a certain side, or to take you to move you in a certain direction, or have some sort of, but then you might have somebody who wants to build 4 walls and now you're losing kind of the original idea of being able to like see it, display it, play it.
Yeah.
Fabby Fan Milwaukee brings up that the finger puppet ones are even better, and I'm not sure exactly what's being referred to. Were there finger puppet basic figures? Oh, I think that like the
ones that didn't have the arms or the legs.
Yes,
just had the head on the on the
creepy.
piece. Yep.
Everybody, look who's here. It's a true influencer. It's Girl Bricks a Lot, otherwise
Hey.
known as Nicole. You guys have seen her on this live stream for our infamous Lego Crimes episode, which we're looking to do another one soon. She contacted me this week. Nicole, I'm on a boat in the middle of the Caribbean Sea. It's actually a ship. A boat would scare me if it was just a tiny boat. She's a little bit rough tonight. So I will get back to you as soon as I get back from vacation and we can figure that out. But I would also love to do Lego Crimes again. Joel and Child confirms, yeah, basic figures. So Jesse, I think it just depends on like what you want to do with this. I would say one is I think it'd be cool to see it in like any configuration possible. So to be able to like lay this out and actually play it somehow and have it be like 9 columns by 3 rows or whatever, like fill a full like 2.5 by 8 foot table. I do think a pattern that would go to the edge so that people can choose to continue the pattern or change it or break it up or do a variation would work better. Otherwise, people would wonder if they're looking at it as one creation, as a lot of times we're trying to do with collaborations, is make it look like it was built by one person, even though it was like built by you want that cohesion. They would wonder why the differentiation between each module. And then as far as like the walls between, I think that would be interesting. You just have to really control the standard for how they would be, and when somebody could add a wall, or what to do when there's a wall on one side of a module, or just kind of like map it out and figure out what people want to do with it and what your ultimate goal for it is.
Well,
if walls work.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a couple things you could do there. You could make the walls removable so that they're not necessarily
That's true.
a permanent fixture. If someone wants to put, an end cap wall on each side or whatever, you can do that, but they can just come off. The other thing I would, say kind of based on this pattern that you have on the floor, normally you'd want to break it up somehow. You would think offsetting it would be sort of logical, but that sort of ruins the grid aspect that you were thinking of. So I might want to vary the color on sort of the tiles a bit here and there to sort of give it a bit more of a different texture or feel as well. So that might be something you look to do. I do understand sort of the idea of the grid, but yeah, if you're going to do that, then maybe a little color variation would help it out.
Okay. Yeah, there can be props too, or a treasure chest over here, kind of breaking things up.
Yeah.
Right.
Or some more braziers or something, and even traps like with spikes exposed and things like that. You've got a little room to go downwards. But yeah, those are great comments, guys. Yeah, I've been working a little bit with my Critical Bricks crew and my in-person crew.
I like Critical Bricks. I prefer that name. That's fun.
Thanks. Yeah, we're having a lot of fun going into our second year of playing all together week after week, and it's been so just nonstop craziness.
Whatever you build on, it's gonna be epic, considering that you want this to be like a playable game that people are already engaged in, and doing it in this different way is going to be something really fun for more people to tune into and be involved in it. Like I can see this becoming a standard that like shows up at shows and might get away from you a little bit, but getting it started is an exciting thing to do.
Thanks. Yeah, that's been the trouble. Like how playable do I want it, or how open-ended I kind of would like to other collaborators to join in the fun. So I'm curious to see what my Critical Bricks players and come up with and have more ideas for me. So it's not just me saying this is how it's going to be. In a collaboration, I need helps, and right now it's like, hey, I put this out there, and I've been experimenting with different scales of the figs, as some of should we do mini land scale? Should we do mini fig scale? And then some settling on this scale, at least drawing that as a solid, and now we can open the creativity as far as collaboration and probably come up with that. And maybe it's a wall similar to this, which is kind of basic, but I could see this back wall being the side wall.
Let's say, like, I suggest you call that scale the baggy pants scale.
The baggy pants scale, yeah.
Baggy pants scale, yeah. There's
Yeah, I
room
mean, I
back
guess
here
you could continue the grid all the way to the back and then just have the wall built so that I can just sit right on
Yeah.
top of the studs on a row, and then you
Yeah.
could move it around,
Mhm.
you know, as you see fit or as someone else sees fit to sort of fit the grid.
Yeah.
So
Well, and like one building technique critique I have, or something that you might want to consider
Yeah,
and discard if you don't like the idea. The torches you have on the wall, the green flames that are sticking out there, if they came out a little further, I think like you have an opportunity to kind of put them at different angles.
yeah.
at
Unless you
least it's
want
not
to
the
look.
slimy tongue piece, though.
I know. I was.
That's the
Yeah,
cloud piece instead of the slimy tongue.
I
But
figured that's what you were laughing at. Definitely, I
Yeah,
appreciate you using
I
the slimy
found
tongue.
two of these from Monkey Kid, I believe, and
Okay. I need to get some of those.
we're
They-
getting
they've
there.
got
We're
really
getting there.
decent-
We got some time.
Yeah.
But I like the contrast anyway of the green flame versus.
Oh yeah.
If it was a red flame, you wouldn't see it as much on this colored wall anyway.
Yeah, I do like the green flame because it looks magic. It looks like it's supposed to be in there.
Right.
I just wish it could, it looks flat up against the wall. And I think if the torches came out a little bit,
Yeah.
that might help you get them at some different angles. And right now, since they're at the same angle as each other,
Mhm.
it looks a little like how do you put it, like clip artish?
Mhm.
But the design itself is very cool. I was just like one minor critique.
I like it. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'll probably build two side by side here so that I can show a separate wall on both sides, because I think boxing in one looks a little rough.
Okay.
And yeah, hopefully I'll have some progress on this. It's been more playing the game of Dungeons and Dragons than building MOCs.
Yeah,
That's the world I'm living right now.
Yeah.
It's been great. I mean, imagine, all of our Lego collections and then adopting a new hobby that actually uses the Lego in a different capacity.
Well, I find that a lot as I like work in studio or like make videos for make speed build mock videos for the YouTube channel. Like it's a little bit more satisfying to get something done small and quick like that. That gives you, or like even just playing Animal Crossing, like your creativity fix gets like hit faster than the complication of sitting down and building something that's like unique and using like new techniques and challenging yourself. Or you get, the satisfaction comes a little bit slower. So it's easier to fall into these things. We're like, yeah, let's keep playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I'll get to this this collaborative idea a little later.
I'll get there.
That 1,000%.
So yeah, hopefully it's now that we're into the past the mid-January mark.
Yeah.
I'll at least have a table, and I'm planning on probably having boxes behind it so that we can do a second level above. So that we, instead of stacking them on top of each other, because a roof would really limit, like you wouldn't even see the dragon if there was a roof coming way out to here. So just doing a bench in the back and giving ourselves maximum exposure for the table space,
like giant habitats.
Yeah, sort of. Yep.
Yikes.
Yeah, we started with that idea too in pyramid habitat positioning.
Yeah.
And I just know how they offset and get very back heavy, top heavy. So I just want a single bench, something in the front, something in the back, and give some creative freedom to, if you want to do a 15 by 15 base plate, I think that's fine. And it'll just have different size chambers, if you will, for the dungeon.
That'll be very cool. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing where that goes.
Thanks. That's my mock for now.
All right. Before we move on to the next topic, I'm going to go ahead and duck out because we're going to be getting ready for the show we're going to see in about 20 minutes. And I got to get ready and stuff. But it's good to see you guys. Thanks for letting me crash the stream I wasn't supposed to be part of.
Yeah. You got your dog park uniform on, even on the boat.
I sure do. Yeah. It's the right weather for my dog park uniform. So
Indeed.
All All right, good night, guys. Enjoy.
Cheers.
I almost hit end stream instead of just leaving.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
don't do
we've
that.
done that several times on Friday Night Bricks.
Of course.
See you guys. End stream. Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's nice of Mark to crash the party. Hopefully he's got a fun adventure to go on. But you know, he didn't want to miss. I think outside the box, and I totally understand that. And of course, since Mark couldn't even miss the show he was supposed to miss, if you don't want to miss a show, of course, like and subscribe so that you get alerts when we're going to start the show, or if we're going to do a special event. We did, for example, do a surprise live stream on Christmas Eve. So there are lots of opportunities to see when we go live, or if we're going to post new videos. I'm still waiting for the Christmas tree to come down in my living room before I can open up the YouTube studio for some things we'll be working on. But when that's ready, you'll be the first to see it when you like and subscribe. I have one other mock that's not really my mock, but it was hand delivered to me right before the beginning of the show. And I said, oh, I've got to get that on the show tonight. This was painted by my 7-year-old, M. from Mara,
Nice.
upstairs today. She's doing one for each season. She did a painting class at Girl Scouts, and now she's really taken to it. And you can see very, very good for any age, but
Sure. Yeah.
only 7 years old, and there you go. So
Is that spring or summer?
I believe that this is going to be summer.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say.
But we'll see. I've seen the winter one as well, but we'll see which other one she comes up
The
with.
birds
So
are flying, so if you're thinking
the
about
birds are
that, that
flying,
can
yes.
indicate some seasons.
Yes, and the
But
tree is
very
all
green.
bloomed and
Yeah.
everything else.
Mhm.
So she's become quite the little artist. I have a feeling between her and my son, she'll be the one more likely to take up Lego, because she likes to create. Miles, more of a video game sports kind of guy. So
Yeah.
she tells me that this is an extra, and it's not necessarily one of the seasons. But let's see, she couldn't decide the season, so it's a bonus.
Bonus season.
So
It's
yeah,
like-
kind of
it's like-
tells me
it's
spring
leap
and
year.
summer.
It's the leap year. You only see one of these once every 4 years.
Yeah, hopefully she'll create one that I'll get to keep. So she's working hard on that stuff. Okay, so what are we set to talk about next? I don't know why I'm out of focus. I'm back in focus. We're going to talk about option number 2, March releases.
Oh
We're
boy.
already through the beginning of the year. There's one new set that they announced as well that we'll look at. But then I want to take a look at some of the March ones, because there are a few in March that I'm particularly excited about, and I want to get your feedback on a few of them here. So let me share my screen. And the first one we want to talk about is the phone booth. What do you think of this thing, Jesse?
Yeah, with the worldwide community, it's something I'm not surprised to see. And like, think of the nostalgia factor. I'm sure there's probably some existing booths still functional across the pond.
Yeah.
It's a nice desk piece kind of thing, I think, for over there, or if you're just a fan of British architecture, I guess, if you want to call it that. The booth is, are they using window frames, or
It doesn't look like it because of the thickness, but I'm not sure.
is it a new like trans clear 2 high brick?
No, it does look like it probably is a window frame, but it's
Okay.
Let's get a good close up on it there. Yeah, I mean, I can tell that that's the window piece in there.
Yeah.
I think kind of the big thing is that they're inset, so all the glass is on the back side, so that's why it doesn't immediately look like it's got a bunch of windows, but it does. They're just inset on these as opposed to the glass being on the outside. So there you can kind of get an idea of it. I think that it's
What's-
a nice piece.
what's
I
the-
also like all the little gray pill pieces.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of red. For mock builders, unless you've got a thing for red, I'm not sure that this is going to be your go-to set to
Is it an
be a parts
ideas
pack.
or is it a
I think it is. I don't know if it was an ideas or an icons type deal, but let's look at the number. It starts with a 2.
the? Okay.
So is that in the ideas realm these days? I'm not even sure anymore. But it's certainly
Just in case, like,
set.
so maybe you can zoom in on the little things on the bottom corner. Are we talking about stickers? Is what I was getting at.
Those are stickers for sure.
Yeah, that Legoland one for sure.
Yep, you can see the borders on these. And then what's this replacement here?
Is it
Not
a
sure.
modern?
Telephone piece versus some other piece. I don't know why you would flop this out. Same thing with these extra border pieces down here. I'm not sure what their purpose is either. But it looks like there's some customization that they think you'd want to do on this for whatever reason. Not sure, but there you have it.
I'm sure that's like a modern version. It looks like almost an ATM kind of little thing at the bottom. So
yeah, I think you probably have to pay to use the phone or something, and it's missing. I'm guessing the receiver goes here. We can see a little thing going, but I don't see a receiver. Maybe there's one in here. They do have the big old phone book in here, which I appreciate. They still have phone books in England. That's just craziness. Not even sure when the last time I saw a phone book was. But yeah, it's a cool set. I'm not sure I'll be in line to buy it though.
No.
So
no, I mean, I'm a Doctor Who fan, so part of me thinks, do I get it and then change it to blue?
Make it blue.
Make it the TARDIS but scale wise, what fig do you put in there? Is it mini land scale? It almost.
Yeah, I don't know. But there it is. Let's see here. Brick Orphanage says it's M for massive. Yeah, I mean, it's very tall. For sure. This scale gives you the ability to do things like the really cool lamppost and the large wrought iron fence. But yeah, I mean, it is its own scale, I guess. And unless you're really into British culture or you like the design, it's kind of challenging to know who it's for. But Lego does.
I mean,
Lego does these things, so who knows?
They're doing everything.
Well, speaking of them doing everything, this is coming out in March.
Wild.
And I know we've talked about this. Everybody's talked about this. It is just so strange for them to be doing this subject, I think, in particular. It's not classic Lego in terms of what people would associate with Lego. They are coming out with the second half of the first movie, or however they're structuring it, or whatever they're calling it.
I wonder who approached who. Like, did Dune IP approach Lego?
It's so hard to know.
Because it would go somewhere. So I'm sure somebody on some marketing team is like, we need to make toys. We need to make Dune toys. We need Lego to buy this.
Yeah. Well, and what's kind of interesting about that is I've seen figures that they've done for them, but they're more of the adult-oriented action figures, like the bigger, chunkier collectible things. But yeah, I mean, it's, the whole story of Dune is all about political assassinations and breeding programs and, all this non-Lego stuff.
Colonizing planets for mineral, resources and stuff.
Yeah, none of the stuff that you immediately say, oh yes, that's totally what Lego is into. So it is an interesting choice. So we'll see when when it comes out, how it's received. It's just been such an interesting choice to finally see it come up. Okay, so the ones I'm most excited for in March are the Technic ones. I think the biggest thing that we've come to realize now is, and we've talked about it some, this color, the tomato soup color. It's really become a color that I've really become drawn to. I was very surprised that it was a new color, but it's so vibrant. And here it is up on the screen again. It's between red and orange. It's definitely more orange than red, and it's reddish orange is the color.
Reddish orange. Okay.
Though I like to call it tomato soup. Here we're seeing a couple more pieces in that color here, some of these new panels. And it really is interesting that they've gone, full hog on the space theme. But we're getting even more of that orange color. So this is really, the fact that these weren't first of the year sets was disappointing to me a little bit, because these were really the ones I was after. I think the city space ones are keeping me intrigued a little bit. But these ones are really the ones I'm more after. What do you think about this guy here?
Oh, missing a few planets.
Yeah, it's just the Earth and the Sun, but I think it accurately shows. My understanding is where you are, based on the dial there on the bottom. When you turn it to the right place, it should kind of give you an idea of where the Sun and the Moon should be relative to you.
Yeah, I think that's fair for what you can do for affordability, to have these M for mechanics to cause that M for motion, but only have Earth and the Moon and the Sun. I mean, that's our system that you can visibly see for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really cool, and I'm excited they've got some more of the tomato soup color pieces in here as well. This is the kind of thing that I think's more of an interesting conversation to have than the telephone booth would be, for example. But it's still pretty interesting, because not only can you see sort of the moon relative to the Earth, you can also see the moon phases down here on the side. So they even tell you what phase the moon's in as well.
Okay.
So there are lots of really, really interesting things about this.
Very educational.
Yeah, so I'm very excited for that one. Brick Orphanage asks, was the ornithopter in the original Dune movie? It probably didn't look like that one.
They had ships, but I don't know if they were dragonfly things.
I don't know if they had the beating wings like have become popular for that type of build way back when Da Vinci thought of that kind of bird flapping type vehicle.
Speaking of invention,
so let's see here. The other thing that I was intrigued about, and this has kind of been an interesting thing to consider, they're doing 2 rovers in the Technic line. They also did 2 rovers in City Space. So it seems like it's the year of the rover. I think both of them are cool in their own right. But here's the second one. Also, it's got some more of the tomato soup, a lot more functionality on this one though. So I'm excited to see how this one builds too.
And for Mars, maybe that's orange. Mars orange.
Mars orange. Yeah, I guess we've been calling it tomato soup, but maybe Mars orange is another good color.
If they're putting it on Mars rovers and things.
Yeah, another good choice. But then they've got this other one, which is like this dropship like looking thing, this VTOL vertical takeoff one here.
Oh wow.
Again, a bunch more of the tomato soup color. So this one I'm very intrigued by as well. They've also got this split cockpit thing going on here. I don't know if your imagination's just supposed to imagine the gap is filled. But another interesting build in that Technic line. So I think this Technic line is really something I'm going to be excited for. Every time I build in Technic, I have to admit, like when I'm building gearboxes and things, I have no idea what I'm constructing or how it's going to go together until afterward.
Yeah.
But it's always cool to see how the functions work. And though I can only kind of get a handle on the very basic stuff, you can kind of tell here from some of the gearing that you can see that these engines are going to be able to rotate. I'm guessing there'll be a number of other interesting functions with being able to lift this box and whatever
Right.
else. Looks like it's kind of got mini hand of God steering on this one to turn the little rover guy.
That's cute though. I like the mini rover.
Yeah, so another one that I'm excited to see in March. This guy we talked about briefly, Mark and I. Are you a Lilo and Stitch guy?
Not really. I don't know much about it.
Yeah, I had only seen it maybe once my entire life. But my daughter just watched this the other day and absolutely thought it was adorable. She loves Stitch here. This is sort of the, subdued version of Stitch without the forearms and the quad blasters, who's just built for destruction.
Yeah.
I
I
but a
wonder
really
what the
cute
story
model.
is about, like how close it is to like Rocket Raccoon or something. Does he mutate?
Yeah, he does. That's kind of what's interesting is that, the lethal version of Stitch, he's got like these antennae that come out the back of his back, and he has 4 arms. So 6 total limbs. More limbs he has, the more blasters he can hold, seems to be his deal.
Yeah. I can see
But
them starting with this and then, morphing
going a little crazier.
into maybe the space one.
This is another one where it's kind of like interesting to think that, Lilo and Stitch was out a long time ago. Why is it popular all of a sudden, or why is it a thing that Lego thinks they need to do now? I know Disney 100 was a big thing, but it's still one of those things where there must be enough of a following for Stitch that people want to see this.
Yeah. Well, I think there's some uniqueness here to his character that doesn't hit like for other animals, if you want to call it, so you could do Simba, and I think they are doing a Simba or a Lion King thing too.
Yeah.
Which I would expect to be similar scale, I guess.
Well, and I also appreciate that at least for this one, we also got 3 different shades of blue on Stitch. So there are some parts that you might be interested in a mock builder, assuming that it's priced, at a decent price. But it certainly is an interesting one. I think probably though, I know the ones that Mark, of course, is all about will be coming up to next. These in particular, the Speed Champions, always end up intriguing to me because even though I'm not expecting it, they always end up having a bunch of new molds. And so on these in particular, this piece is the one that I'm seeing a fair amount. This kind of flat piece with the corner cut off it.
Yeah,
it shows up a whole places on here.
But it's not sloped.
So that'll be a new and interesting
like the blue
piece
ones in front of it. Right there's the sloped 1x2
version.
It's a flat tile version.
So I always end up buying the Speed Champion sets mostly because they end up having a unique piece or two, or they come out first in that, and they'll often have 3 or 4 of them in a set.
Yeah.
And
nice to find them physically instead of like we're analyzing it right now, and I might remember that piece exists, but
you
when
might
you build it, it's like,
where did this thing come from? Yeah, finding them organically can be cool, and I'm sure there's some, they always end up with new bracket pieces as well in these, since they do so much with trying to get the shape in a small space.
Yeah. Is there a name for that technique? It's just like all these little subsets that just fit together, and sometimes they're loose, like that hood could just fit right in there, but it's probably not. It's probably snotted in.
Slips in there. Who knows?
Brackets.
lift out and you could put a different motor in. They've done that a few times as well, where they sort of done that technique. Here's another one. This piece in particular, I think, is the intriguing one for me on this. So this is sort of a new wedge piece with a roll in it.
2x2.
It's also here with a sticker on it, and over here. So they are using this piece a fair amount too, whatever this new piece is. So this will be interesting. I kind of want to know what piece would go on the front of this that would kind of finish the slope.
I guess if it was lower, it'd probably match the one behind it.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. It's an interesting new piece that I think will be used a lot. Kind of like the single. Is this I don't know if this is a windshield wiper or some radio antenna. I'm not sure what this is on the front here. But another new set. It's like,
they got the flat tiles in the front there in red.
Yep. Couple cool pieces. And the last Speed Champions one is a dual pack.
Affordable usually.
Yeah. Where we've got those same pieces here. One in the back on the spoiler. And then a couple up here for the shaping. Lots in black. And then that sort of other new wedge tile piece as well. So this will be another one where I'll buy it, see some new interesting parts for sure. Probably some we're not even seeing in the inside on these. They hold their value pretty well too, the Speed Champions. People like them in a few years when they're car fans. It's not always my favorite thing, but I do enjoy seeing the new molds for sure. They're also pretty easy to display, nice and compact, especially if you bother to put on all the stickers, which is the one thing I know a lot of people don't like about Speed Champions is they have,
a lot of stickers.
20 stickers per car. So it gets to be overwhelming at times.
Yeah. 2-pack here. That's a nice combo.
Yeah, and they've tended to do this a lot where they do like the super race car and then kind of the more stock motor race car.
Yep.
That seems to be a theme that they've used several times.
Well, if you want one, you got to buy the whole the double pack.
Yeah. Well, one thing I usually like though is price-wise, they're usually not too crazy.
No, yeah.
But Brick Orphanage is saying what we just said. So many stickers. Yeah, I mean,
so many stickers.
It does get to be overwhelming. The other part that's interesting here on this particular set is that it fades from black over to red and white on the other side. So it's asymmetrical. Same thing over here, blue to black on the other side. So the part selection, you're not getting pairs of things.
Oh, yep. You're going to right and a left on some of that stuff.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting as well. You'll have several of this red wedge that goes left, but you won't have any right-facing ones, so you'll have to figure that out yourself. The one I know that Mark's going to be into are the Animal Crossing sets. Are you an Animal Crossing guy, Jesse?
I am not.
Okay. So this is sort of, they're using a lot of the same elements, and it makes sense that they did with the Mario sets. They've got those sort of standardized base pieces that they link together.
Right.
And then I think the figures are probably what's more intriguing to a lot of the Animal Crossing fans.
Mm-hmm.
This set in particular, for example, I don't see a lot of new or interesting build techniques or pieces. But I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people who want the little unicorn guy here, who I'm sure has a name and everybody knows who's not us. But here he is at a birthday party, getting a skateboard for a present, among other things.
Yeah, the skateboard is the only appealing thing for me. I've been a skateboarder all my life and collect a lot of the skateboards. I've taken the bonsai tree and put all skateboards in it. So I have a skateboard tree.
Oh, okay.
So now
What's the best trick you got for your skateboarding skills that you can
Oh.
still do? You got to still be able to do it.
Nollie big spin.
Okay. I
That's
don't know what that is, but it sounds fun.
Yeah, nollie is where you lift off of your nose instead of ollie off of your tail. So that's a tricky part of it. And then a big spin is your body goes 180 and the board goes 360.
Wow. All right. Well, it's more tricks than I can do on a skateboard.
There you go. Yeah.
So do you keep track of all the Lego skateboard colors then? And if it's a new color, you're like, I need that one.
Right. So I have purple boards, but the teal wheels are interesting. I think somewhat new, but maybe not from other carts and stuff that have come out recently. I know there's like bright green and stuff like that. And I don't know that I've swapped them out. But whenever I see a skateboard, that's like almost an automatic, like no decision. I'll take another skateboard.
You gotta get it so you can get the skateboard. Well, there you go. Here's another one. It's got some parts in here that intrigue me. It's got the nice butterfly, which I like. It had a couple of different butterfly designs. I'm not sure that I've seen this one. It's probably not new. I don't know. But you've also got this tree piece at the bottom that's been a bit interesting.
Yeah. They have the spiky one from Mario that's like more spiky cactus, right? But that's like roots.
Yeah, it's kind of the roots at the bottom. They also have some olive green leaves down here.
Is that spider dark green?
I think he's black and it's just a bad rendering, but I'm not sure.
Bad render shadow. Okay.
He does look kind of more of a grayish color. He definitely looks different than the axe over here. And it's possible that the spider is using a slightly different plastic. I guess I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, with the legs, it is not quite the hard plastic. It's not quite the soft.
Yeah. So it's another one where I'm like, okay, I'm sure that the Animal Crossing people will be into it. I don't see a lot here. Depending on the price, though, there's a couple of cute pieces at the very least.
Brick Orphanage says the root piece did appear in Mario.
Okay. Another one here. This little burger sandwich thing that they've made down here appears in one of the.
It's more of a cheese sandwich. I don't see them.
Yeah, it looks like it's got lettuce and cheese and like tomato or something.
Yeah.
It's like a BLT minus the bacon.
Yeah.
I saw a build very similar to this appear in one of the city space sets. So maybe there's some crossover here. Sand green again. And we've got the return of the super adorable hermit crab down here.
Nice. Had that only appeared in the
CMFs?
CMF
possibly? I don't
Stranded.
know. The Castaway
guy, yeah.
Yeah, the Tom Hanks guy. I'm not sure. But
what is on that table?
These are sunglasses.
Oh, okay.
From like the Friends line, and they have a little peg in them. And I notice these guys tend to have a small peg.
Yeah,
in
the peg throws me off. But yeah, no, you put those so it goes on their head.
Yeah, so he must wear it on his head. This squirrel, I don't know his name, but he seems crabby. And Monica is confirming to us it's all about the figs.
All about the figs.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few new pieces that we'll actually get into in the main event with these.
I mean,
but I think if you're not into the figs, they're hard to, really want to.
I'm not into the heads really, but when I see the arms on that guy with the blue sleeves and that's kind of cool.
The two-tone. It's actually kind of three-tone. He's got the lime hands and then the green lower arm and then the blue upper arm.
Yeah.
The triple color. Okay, so I think this is probably more what people want to see is some of these houses. I think in particular the doors and the configurable windows are what people are going to be most into. You don't get a lot of customization on these houses here, but you get some of this.
Okay.
And I'm sure that this is going to be, the part in particular that Mark ends up gravitating towards when he's doing his builds. Is kind of reusing these beautiful doors and windows for some of these houses. They obviously look like they're dollhouse style, open in the back. But outside of the door and window, I don't really see anything else that's super interesting here. I think this little creature down here is a deer of some variety.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know that you'd necessarily guess that from its look, but I think it is. And the little dog's bringing it, bringing flowers.
Can you zoom in on the apples? The clip holding them, is that just bad rendering again? Or
yeah, I'm not sure what color those are supposed to be. I think they're brown.
Oh,
it's brown, but yeah, they don't look very good. That's for
that
sure.
could be dark green again. I'm like, what's going on there? But I don't know why.
The other thing too, you see one of the trees looks like it's been cut down here, because that's one of the things you can do in the game is cut trees down.
Cut the trees, collect apples.
Regrow the tree.
Like there's a book in the back there through the window.
Big old book. Yeah. I'm not sure what's on this tile. It's probably some Animal Crossing insider thing that we don't get. Oh, I think it's an acorn.
It's like
maybe you can collect acorns.
Or acorn cards, or
yeah, I don't know why it's on a 2x2. I think they had an acorn piece. It looked like it would be on a 1x1 round piece would make more sense.
Maybe that's their currency.
Their currency is something called bells.
Oh, okay.
I just happen to know that. And then here's sort of the last one. Same thing, more of the. It's a very similar house over here. The same thing with the windows that you can change on it. So that's kind of what's coming out in March. Is there anything that's super interesting to you, or are you gonna just buy parts, or what's your thoughts on the March waves?
Oh, March waves. Not too much. I'm really starting to slow down on sets, and I think, which is good because there's so many, you just cannot collect them all.
Like Pokemon, gotta catch them all.
You gotta. Yeah, I mean, there was a time where I thought I could, have almost everything, and I could still afford probably whatever I wanted to buy, but I got to draw the line, just from storage, pure storage,
You can only get so much in the closet of shame, right? And
right. Yeah. It just goes like, even the coolest sets go right into that pile of shame.
Yep.
And when am I going to build them? All I got time for is this little cute dragon guy. I'll build them on Friday Night Bricks.
Monica says it's a crafting recipe card. So apparently you're using it to craft something. I don't know what it's going to take to make something new and cool with that acorn card, but there you have it.
And there's a little coin with a star, or maybe there's a bell on it.
Maybe that's our bell right there. Yes, maybe it is.
I got the Lego site up too, just looking at coming soon things. So
okay, what do you got?
There's a couple Harry Potter things. I don't know if you've talked about.
Yeah, we've talked about those over
the one with the little dragon. That's probably what I would get out of anything.
Okay, let's pull that up here.
Just to have those little baby monsters and stuff. For my gaming.
Over to this. Okay, so let me pull those up here. I think of everything that's coming out in March. Like I said, I'm really going
sure if those are
going hard on the Technic, but we'll see here.
Coming soon, March 1st. Those are March 1st sets. Hagrid's Hut and etc.
Number 985 of Hagrid's Hut.
Yeah.
That's kind of the one part where I've been like, how many Hagrid's Huts can we handle?
We're gonna have more huts than land speeders.
Ooh, hard to believe. Let's see. The other thing that they're
It's another thing I've
only
kind of stopped, like Star Wars collecting. That's not fitting in with my dungeon and castle kind of. I'm going that direction instead of Star Wars and superhero.
yeah.
So Harry Potter, I've got enough of the figs, but I do lean towards, if I'm collecting or stocking up, prefer the flesh tone minifigs versus the yellow classic figs. So city
Okay.
figs. So I don't mind popping the Harry Potter stuff open, parting out the hut, and keeping the animals and the figs for other purposes.
Yeah, and he's got the adorable little dragon, as you pointed out, in the Hagrid's hut, but it's number, like I said, like number 600 of Hagrid's hut. I don't know how many they actually have, but that's a very popular one, is to do that one. And it's, they're all that round shape with a conical roof.
Yeah.
So they've tried it. And it seems like, to me, maybe this is it. Every time they redesign Hagrid, they have to make him a new hut.
That's it.
So maybe that's it. I don't know.
Where are you gonna put them? Yeah. The dog is cool, and yeah, some of the sweaters and stuff the kids are wearing. Nice figs and more short legs. I wonder if they look like short legs.
Yeah, so here's the one we're talking about here. $75 though.
Yeah, that's a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 figs.
It is almost 900 pieces though. That's kind of surprising for the size of the set as it looks, but
oh wow, okay.
Apparently 896 pieces. So a decent number of pieces for $75. And yeah, as you're pointing out, 5 figures as well as the mold for the dog and the dragon. So
yeah, I hate to do it, but this is in my wish list right now, and so what'll happen is, if there's a GWP, this might populate my don't need it, but
yeah, you can pull the trigger on it there.
Yeah, if I need to start with 75 and then add another 25 or whatever the math is for a GWP, that'll be in there in March.
Yeah, Joan says needs the opposite. She doesn't want the figs, just the sets, or just the parts, or maybe both. And then, after a while, you have, how many versions of Harry Potter do you really need? But yeah, I mean, it's just like Star Wars. They seem to manage to, add a little arm printing, add a little this, add a little that.
Yeah.
They just give you a slightly different enough stuff to keep you coming back. The Hagrid's hut also appears to open up with the roof off, so we can show that as well.
Yeah, or I wonder if it's 360 instead of dollhouse. It looks like, yeah, right?
It is, and it opens up, so you can see it here.
Oh, I see.
Unfolding into 3 sections.
Yeah.
So kind of another way to do it, I guess, but very small when it's all together. That's the one thing about Hagrid barely fits inside the hut.
Yeah, if there's truly 900-ish pieces, yeah, those are reusable pieces for sure.
Well, let's talk a bit, since there are some cool sets coming out, but I'm more excited about a bunch of the new molds that we've seen. Some of them are actually new, probably some of them are just new to me. But let me show you some of the ones that we've got going here. So the first one,
like 2 in this dragon I just built.
Yeah. So here's one of the new ones.
Wow.
Is this one in the? I know we were mentioning there was some new bracket piece in the Emerald Express as well, or not the Emerald Express, the what's the one that just came out? The Orient Express. But here's sort of a new piece. It's like I
think that is the same piece. Yeah.
Yeah. Does that one show up in dark blue? And
we're still calling that a bracket, even though it's a plate with another plate. And
yeah, it's the 2x with the current one they have is 2x2 with the plate sticking up in the middle, and it only goes up
stud receiver, and then
1. This
Right.
one now is 1x2 and it goes up 2.
Yeah.
So it's a little kind of variation on that piece. So I could see this being very useful. It'll probably be used a lot. But there it
Definitely
is.
in those trains. Wow. Sideways building a window and then going back. So you could pop. That's what you do, right? It basically promotes snot building in between. If you stack two of those the other
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah, and Brick Orphanage confirms it's the same one that's in the Orient Express. So it's a very intriguing snot piece to say the least. I think what's kind of unique about it or interesting is that it is exactly 2 bricks tall because it's six plates, but it's five on the side and then 1 tile on the bottom, with this piece here being right in the middle of the stack of 5. So it
Right in the middle.
is a really interesting piece to say the least. So I can see that one being used a lot in a lot of speed champions. This will probably be used frequently as well.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another bracket that I saw.
Wow.
I've sort of seen the inverse of this, where it's 6 across the bottom, and then the bracket piece goes up. Now they've sort of done the opposite. This is 4 by with the piece down. It's kind of like a variation on this piece. Let's pull it out here. It's got a lot of similarities to this piece. Let me
With only 2 studs on top.
solo this thing here. So this classic piece,
Mm-hmm.
like a variation on this, except it's 4 wide all the way across the top and then 2 deep. So sort of a variant on this. I don't know that you need this new piece if you already have. Well, let's get the right one here.
Definitely like in architecture and stuff, you don't need it, but like the cars and the ships and then I could see.
There it is. Got to click the right one. So yeah, I mean, I think you can accomplish almost everything with this piece that you're going to be able to with this newer one, but it's out there now. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it affords some stability for vehicles.
Yeah, it's probably what it'll be used
it's
for.
Like right down there at the bottom. You can stack more onto it.
And then we've been talking about this one. So this is the mini coaster piece in tomato soup. And I wish I could zoom in on this thing more, but it's this piece. Let's see how smooth we can transition now.
Just one track.
Just a single length track. It's now in a couple colors, but this one in particular. And now I think it's this one that I click. Look at that! I got it right this time. So an interesting piece as well. This one I thought was interesting. So this, let's see if I can zoom in still. Let's see here.
What is that?
There we go. So this here is a ladder, or it's listed as a ladder for the fire sets.
Okay.
But the way that it's structured, kind of looking at the outer lip on this, it kind of looks like it's the right shape to continue a coaster track.
Sure does.
I don't know if it can or not, but it is intriguing to me that that's sort of the shape here. So it's kind of like a ladder combined with a coaster track. I don't know. So it's sort of an interesting piece. I have to see if that's what it actually is or not. And then this piece, it's divisive, I'll say. Some people think it's really interesting. Some people are terrified of it. That's the reddish, or not the reddish, the flamish yellow-orange version of this. I got one of them in green.
Oh.
It's supposed to be, sort of a bunch of these tri-leaf pieces all squished together into one giant leaf.
Right.
It does have some curvage to it, which is kind of cool. Kind of automatically hangs down a little bit. But not everybody is thrilled to see this piece. What do you think of it? Do you think it's going to be a a nice piece for mockers, or do you think it just kind of looks like garbage?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's the type of thing you put in a junior 4+, 6+ kind of thing, so they can do easy trees.
Yeah.
I think, but everybody, a lot of people can come up with nice part usage things to do, and like that crazy dragon and stuff. You could just hide so much and like mold circular things if you had a whole bunch of these things and some skills.
Yeah, I could see that looking kind of, because the pattern is repeated. I could definitely see this being like a dragon scale type pattern.
Right. Yeah.
As well.
I could see it covering an animal or a dragon.
Could look like feathers or scales. So hopefully the mock community will take advantage of this piece. But I think a lot of people just kind of gave it a big ugly leaf piece, as Joe Ellen calls
Somebody
it.
will make a big bird out of that for sure.
Bill says he likes that interesting. I think it's technically a ladder that might actually double as a coaster piece.
Coaster track in black.
So we'll have to see. Just kind of the way it was shaped, it made me think maybe it would be compatible. I have no idea if it is.
I'm sure.
But it was interesting to see it. And then we've got the double wide fern, as I'd like to call it here. Leave this part showing up in that crazy Friends Mansion set. It's only in this color right now, but it is a interesting piece. I think this part is not as visceral. I think a lot of people actually do like it. Let's see here. Monica gives us the designer's name, says, I think it will be useful, but I wish Lego had been more asymmetrical with the design. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, one of the aspects to the Lego leaf pieces. Pretty much all of them are fairly symmetrical. The stem pieces have kind of different lengths off their shoots, but the standard leaf pieces pretty much all symmetrical.
Yeah.
Which is, interesting. Especially, I think maybe what makes this one feel a little different is the fact that it is essentially a bunch of those tri-leaf pieces kind of squished together. So you had opportunities to make it less symmetrical, but
right.
Symmetrical seems to be the word with Lego, and then I guess the way you stack them or put them together is how you create the asymmetry on it. But yeah, we'll see that piece in particular. I also saw this piece. It's a vine with a bend on the top. We've seen this vine piece. Yeah, it's just got a stud right on the top there that goes over to the edge.
This reminds me of Donkey Kong Jr.
Yeah, it probably will be in a Donkey Kong set or two. And then this piece, I saw this. People might be saying, why does that part look special? Well, maybe it's not new, but I found it new when I was building one of the Lego City space sets.
It's taller than the usual slope.
Yeah, so here it is in the flesh, in real life. So you can see how tall it is there. It's a full stud. And then
full stud?
Yeah, it's a full stud under there.
So here we go.
No, it's a full stud. So there's a full stud.
Full brick
in there. So it's 5 tall. So it is kind of this extra big slope.
Wow.
And they're sort of making the shape.
Does it match
the curve of something? I'm not sure. So that's the other part that we can that I can show you here.
Usual slope pieces.
Let's see here. I mean, it's obviously doesn't match this at all. They're very different.
Okay.
Let's see. The
1x3 is what it looks like.
3. Let's see if I can find that part. I'll look for it here in a second while we talk about that part. But yeah, it's a little bit longer piece here, kind of a continuation. Let's see here. I do have the 1x3 in dark red. Again, Solo Me again. I do not think that they're a match, but
No, which is good. Then we have a new. Oh yeah, it's much
much steeper.
deeper, which is good.
Mm-hmm. So
Almost twice. Interesting.
let's see. Brick Orphanage says, I pulled up the ladder to the studio, and you have to add a plate underneath to raise it. Then the rails line up. So that's interesting. However, there are studs on it where you would normally have a tile connector on the inside. So it may or may not be smooth, but the rails at least line up.
Yeah, if depending on the car, whatever you put on the rails, they might hit the studs. Or,
yeah, so that's.
Or you can't use the studs and it would roll across the studs. But
Brick Orphanage is same thought. Yeah, it could be functional, maybe not.
Because usually, yeah, those roller coaster pieces to attach them, they have the studs there, you know, and then you put a tile and it coasts across that.
Nice and smooth, yeah. So a little bit different there. And then this piece, I'm really interested in. I kind of really like this. A new banana, the peeled banana.
Banana peel.
It's not in any Donkey Kong sets yet or Mario sets, though I'd imagine, you know, it's got to eventually be right in a Donkey Kong or a Mario set. I mean, you can't not have a peeled banana in those sets,
right?
But there it is. I don't know how it connects. I'm guessing there's perhaps there's an anti-stud in there, so you can insert something to make it look like there's a banana coming out of the peel. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd hope so.
It's like the hot dog piece. If they have it in tan, you could insert in there or something.
Or stack them.
Well, yeah, they definitely have the handle here, which looks like the
bar.
The bar. So you would hope you'd be able to stack them on top of each other to make a texture. Obviously, the minifig then can hold it. Might make it hard to actually attach stud down on a plate, but who knows?
Right. Yeah, if you want it right on the surface.
Yeah, a couple other parts that I came across that maybe
cool.
That maybe are new, maybe aren't. So when I was building a few of these city space sets, I came across this piece. You'll have to tell me if you've seen this one here, but it was exciting to me for a couple of reasons. So the one that I'm talking about here is this one here. So it's a 1x2 with ball joints with the Mixel ball joint size on each end in black. So I don't know if this is new or not, but I have not seen it before. So the fact that it's black is one thing that's interesting, since the Mixel joints have really only been in gray and dark gray. This one now is black with a ball joint on each side. So I had not seen this before, and it's used as sort of a robotic-y looking piece on a guy here, so that he can have some extra arms. I'm sure it's gonna be popular for Doc Ock or whatever in the Marvel sets at some period.
Yeah, put it on the back.
There he's kind of got his little utility extra arms with him. So that was a part I hadn't seen before. That maybe isn't new, but was new to me at least. This piece as well. It's a mudguard piece kind of shape. I've seen a bigger version of this in Technic. This one, though, is all stud and anti-stud on it. So Monica says that comes in tan and white. She might be talking about those. I don't know if she's talking about this piece or the other piece. She's talking about this one, Monica, or the other one. But it looks new to me. Yeah, I mean, I hadn't seen it at least. It's definitely sort of a larger scale, like a wheel guard type piece that I could see being used on some larger car type models. There have been black ball joint connectors to a 2x2 plate. Yes, there have been in black. Still no sockets in black. Yeah, that 2x2 with the ball joint. That one, of course, is longer. The ball joint itself is longer. They're back here on my wall, so they should be findable here. Here we go. So these are a little different. They've got a hole in them. Technical. They're 2x2, and then the head itself is longer. So yeah, I mean they've had this piece, which is technically kind of mixily, but I hadn't seen it with a ball on each end in black before. Sort of the first single wide, I guess, in line kind of piece for that. But yes, they do have the that one, or they have had that one. It's just not as tight as the other one.
I got a mold here for robotic mixily things.
Yeah, so let's go over to that.
So if you've built this Ninjago set, it has really nice articulation in this mixel joint, right?
Yeah.
You can see how extended that rod is. This piece
and it's a pin on the back. Yep.
Is a pin and a ball joint for mixels that I discovered recently. I know this hasn't been out too long. That was interesting mold. And,
yeah, they've used that in a couple of different. They also used it in the other another mech from that
shoulder blade.
And maybe it's really useful for the transforming feature because it gets it farther away from the body.
This thing, did you build one of these?
I haven't.
Oh, okay. So here's a spoiler mold piece. If I pull his jaw off, there's a bar.
Yes.
On this underside. I don't know if I can even get it out of there, but it
looks like it's a 2x2 with a bar that sticks out below it.
Yeah, it's a 2x2 plate, so it has 4 studs on top, but then below it, has this bar piece, so you can kind of connect the jaw to. That blew my mind. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, so that's another cool new mold there. The other thing I wanted to mention, so the other thing that they did recently,
there's something else on here
take
too.
This out here.
Have you seen these? I can pull this piece out. Looks like a tile, right?
Yes. So they had that in 2x2. Now they have it in 2x4. They also have it in like 6x4 or 8x6 or something. There's some big ones that I saw on the bottom of the latest UCS X-Wing. They've got a bigger version of that. It's kind of like the boat stud, except for instead of being rounded, it's square. And now they're doing it in several different sizes, so you can completely do a flat tile type bottom on an anti-stud. The other thing to mention, so this piece here, what color would you say this piece is?
I think it's trans black is what they usually call it.
That's what they used to call it. But they converted this color from trans black to trans brown. I think the reason they did that is because here is a new color.
Oh.
This one I think is trans black now. You can see it's a little darker.
Okay.
Not quite the same. So I think they kind of retconned trans black, turned it into trans brown, so they could have this newer, darker
gray then or something.
I don't know.
Because is it really brown?
I don't know. But I believe that's the story.
I mean, they do they've got the chemistry for it, so maybe it's closer chemically to a clear brown.
I don't know. Can the Tainted give us some insight into this? But that was kind of my understanding, is it was a kind of a surprise when they said, oh yeah, that color that everyone's called trans black forever is now actually trans brown.
Wow.
And they did that so they could have this other color now.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time, right? Old gray bricks.
Yeah. So yeah, it is a darker shade now, and you can tell when you see them up close that they are in fact a bit darker than the the older version was. So it was kind of one of those things where they're like, oh, everything that you thought was trans black is really trans brown. So
they couldn't call it like they did with gray, light bluish gray. There'd be too many words in there. Transparent, dark blackish.
yeah, so here's the Bricklink color chart. So let me pull this up here. So you can see here, trans brown,
Wow, and they have
old trans black, and then
Yeah,
they have
that's
trans black starting in 2023.
Huh.
So they sort of retconned it to
Yeah.
do that. So I don't know. It's
confuse
kind of
some buyers and settlers someday.
it might. I don't know,
But
it
they
was
did in
one of those things.
parentheses. I mean, that's going to stick. It's going to be old gray bricks, old trans black.
Old trans black, but their official title for it now is trans brown. So let's see here. The iridescent trans brown looks very purple. Okay. I'll take your word for that. Better than renaming the flesh colors to nougat. Okay, I guess. No further insights from anyone, but hey, there's the proof in the Bricklink pudding that they have in fact renamed old trans black to trans brown so they could add a trans brown color. I mean a trans black color.
New trans black.
There's not a lot of that trans black color. There's
Mostly
only
windshields, I imagine.
14 pieces, and I think most of them, several of them, you can find in these new city space sets here. So here's the one that I pulled some of those parts off of. So it's got trans black there, and this little kind of part in the middle here has some trans black panels there for the side windows. And I could tell when I was looking at them that they were a little darker than the old color. They're not like miles different, but if you were using both of them on the same mock, you could definitely tell that one's a different color than the other. So let's see here. Rob says, I wish Lego had trans brown back in the early 2000s for some of the recolored Bionicle masks. Who knows? But yeah, it's one of these interesting things where it's
you mean
a shift,
trans black?
A shift in the color scheme. Yeah, when you say trans brown, do you mean
there was no trans?
Yeah,
trans
so
brown is just trans gray, so they had trans gray, or I don't know. It's confusing. We'll get used to it.
Yeah. Well,
that's wild.
Looking at the list of pieces, I mean, you're right. There's, let's see here. It's all some version of a windscreen, except for 1x4. We got a 1x4 up in here, which can still be, a windowy piece. And then this candle piece apparently shows up somewhere in the trans black. Outside of that,
the new trans,
they're all windscreens of some variety.
Right.
So interesting. Let's see. Did I see any other cool new molds in the city sets?
Might be cool to get window frame inserts in that color.
Yeah,
I'm sure they will.
The other color they're using a bunch in these city sets is this satiny blue purple color. This iridescent purple. They're using it both for what is essentially batteries that powers everything, and then what I presume is the reason they're off in Space City is to harvest these crystals, which are also this iridescent purple color. So they've got that color as well everywhere. Any other weird or unusual parts that you've taken note of?
I've just shared the recent ones off of those two little sets, and I just haven't been building sets too much.
Yeah.
Didn't notice anything new. Those are I built the avatar tree and kind of started to piece it apart. But I don't remember too much there.
This is our molds with the U, so we don't confuse it with black mold. But our next topic is mystery topic, which is one I told Jesse he had to come up with on the fly. So mystery topic, what do you have for us?
I don't know. Can I just use self-promotion here and talk about the M for museum?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I mentioned this a lot. I volunteer at a model railroad museum. 2 M's in that, quite a few M's, in the Twin Cities, and that has given me an outlet to display. And I know I talked about the roundhouse that I've been building, so I can't show it because it's like huge, probably 2.5 feet wide and deep, and holds 4 train bays. And I'm working on a roofing system for it. So someday I'll be able to show that off some more. So yeah, just self-promotion. If you're in the Twin Cities, come to the museum, M for museum, and you may see me most weekends, although I got a weekend off this weekend. So no new content for me, but there definitely chat in our group. We're called GMLTC, Greater Midwest Lego Train Club, and John and Steve and Roger and me and a few others, handful of others, are keeping that thing going and trying to basically start a whole new layout. So how many train layout clubs are out there that are on version 6 of 30 feet length, 500,000 piece displays?
Yeah. And the museum, for anyone in the Twin Cities, it's in St. Paul. It's a little bit north of the Menards off of University, if
M
you know
for
where that is.
Menards and or M for Midway.
M for Menards or M for Midway. Yes, it's a nice
Midway
area.
between St. Paul and Minneapolis.
Yeah, it's safe. You can park there and go inside. It's a nice area, so you don't
Nice
have to
little
worry about that.
business strip mall kind of thing. It's not too much like a coffee shop next door. But yeah, thanks. It'd be good to see anybody in the community at large, because I know you're out there. I've seen people in the chats and the Instagrams, and then all of a sudden they show up at a Twin Lug meeting. It's like, oh, you're in Minnesota.
Right. Yeah.
I'm from Minnesota.
Yep. Next Sunday is since we're promoting where we're going to be.
Wow.
Next Sunday is the Founders Night event for Bricks and Minifigs Roseville. And that is between 5 and 7, I believe, if you're a Founders member. But most people won't be. But what I do want to point out is that I believe a Brickmaster from the Lego show will be there. I believe it's going to be Caleb Schilling. That's my belief. Caleb is a friend of mine. So I'll see if I can get him to come on the show for a minute or two. So next week we might have a Lego Master for a few minutes. I don't know if that will actually work out. But I'm going to corner him and try at least.
Yeah, twist his arm.
Yeah, Caleb's a good guy, good builder, very friendly. He just did the holiday edition with Nene Leaks for that, the celebrity bricktacular, the seasonal bricktacular. So
and he's
he's a prominent YouTuber as well, and a mocker.
Mock Minecraft. M for
Yes,
Minecraft builder.
M for Minecraft. So we'll see if I can get Caleb on for a few minutes. Cheesy Studios, if you don't know who he is,
Cheesy
just
Studios,
to catch up with him a little bit. So that'll be fun next week if I can pin him down. So we'll see.
Are you gonna go to the opening and try to stand in line and all that, or you gotta?
Well, so I'm displaying something at. So the grand opening is February 3rd.
Okay, so you have something in the window
and on that
or
day,
on the table.
they have a community room in the back. I haven't been in there yet since they got the store cooking, but I think it's mostly done now. And the community room is going to have some local MOCs in it. And since it's literally my hometown store, I'm going to have some MOCs there for the event.
Good.
What's the founders member thing? Yeah, they had a certain number of slots open for people who wanted to be founder members for this brick and minifig store. I don't know if they'll do it on other places or not, or if they have. But because it's my local one and I want to support it, because hey, it's a lot less driving to go to Bricks and Minifigs than it would be to drive all the way down to the Mall of America, which is my next closest Lego affiliated store. I'm supporting them that way. So they're having an event for the members of that.
A little bit of a Patreon kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of like a Patreon for Bricks and Minifig store.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm doing that. I'll have the MOCs there. So if you do come to the ground opening or you're in the area in Minnesota, you can go to the Train Museum and the Bricks and Minifig store and see what I have built in the same weekend if you wanted to.
Yeah,
I mean, check out what we got going on.
I mean, Snelling, it's got to be somewhere off of Roseville and Snelling.
It's right off of Lexington Avenue in Lexington, right. And I think it's the crossroad of Lexington and Larpenteur, essentially.
Yeah, we're like
so easy to find.
5 miles from there.
Yeah, not
so
too
everybody
far away.
Everybody going there needs to check out the museum.
Yeah, so the next public appearance I'll be doing after that, I will be in Milwaukee. There is the official start to the Brick World season actually in Indianapolis, where sort of Indiana's where Brick World got a lot of its roots, because that's where the original owners were from. I can never make it that far. It becomes just too long a drive. I've always told Mark, anything you can keep on the west side of Lake Michigan, I can probably make. As soon as we get east of Lake Michigan, though, then it becomes a really long drive. But yeah. I will definitely be in Milwaukee. It is, I believe, April 13th and 14th, I want to say, in Milwaukee. I always go. It's one of the 2 shows I do for Brick World. If I can get him to come to Minneapolis, I'll do that one, of course. And I did randomly show up to Holiday Joy, as some of you know, and met a few members of the Tainted this year, cool. Without telling him I was going to be there. So, so Milwaukee's an opportunity to catch a bunch of the members of the Tainted and Mark and myself as well. So if you're in the upper Midwest and you want to come out to where we're going to be, that might be a show you
I'll have to give that a thought to just show up as a guest and do a 1-day drive in, check it out for a few hours and drive back, maybe, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a good space in the hall, and I think a lot of the people who are at Chicago do make the trip. It's not too far a drive if you're out of Chicago. Mm-hmm. So we oftentimes end up seeing some new MOCs from quite a few people. FabuFan Milwaukee will be there as well. So there'll be a number of the Tainted there if you want to come. I'm sure we'll have some dots, pretzels, and all kinds of fun stuff if people want to come out there. So that's where I'll be in April. If you're making plans, make sure you come out there. It's just, a few short months away from the big show in Chicago, but it's a good time to
how do they do with
come to a
less crazy sales? Like if I wanted to spur of the moment, probably just show up at the door, right?
And yeah, they do just like anything. There's general admission type tickets that you can get. They do, if you buy them beforehand, they're usually slightly cheaper, whatever the case is, as usual.
Because I know
but yeah,
quite a few Whistler people there. So it'd be nice to bump into Reed and Kevin and Buttchop and those like.
Yep. Yeah, Reed will probably have some Lane Castle stuff, and same thing with Kevin. He'll probably have Star Wars and Castle stuff. So there are lots of. There will be some new MOCs though. There almost always are. Tim Lighty always shows up with something new. Ben Pitchfork always shows up with something new. Usually it's a preview for part of what they'll be bringing to Chicago. So lots of times it's a it's a fun show to come to because it's getting close to Chicago, and some of the
Preview.
preview
Get
for what you
ready.
might see. Yep. So it's a fun one to go to, if you have interest in coming out to that one and seeing some of us. Let's see here. What else do I have on our show run? Because it's me and you, we always get much closer to the 2-hour time limit than
Yeah.
Mark does.
And I'm just fine with like 2 hours
So
is enough.
2 hours, I think, is the perfect amount. And I always tell Mark, we gotta get there. We gotta make it to our 2 hours so that he can have dinner before M for Matt, his husband, gets mad at him for showing up late. I think Mark is going to be back next week. I don't know for sure.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean Jesse can't pop on if you don't want. If you want to, you still can, of course. Mark and I were talking about building some of the City New Year's space sets in particular, to check out some more of the new molds. I did build this one this week to sort of check it out.
Space.
It's got some nice features. Like, I like this crane in the back, the way it
Oh wow,
freely moves here.
that's cool.
And I think they're doing a lot of stuff with this modular design for a bunch of the sets. So they sort of have these little modules that kind of run across the whole theme. So we'll see if there's some cool sub bits, some sub designs, and maybe some even newer molds that we didn't talk about today in some of these city space sets next week too, when Mark's back. So did you pick up any New Year's sets, or were you tapped out already?
I think
obviously you got the cute dragon, but
yeah, no, I made a order. It wasn't too extreme. I think it was this Ninjago dragon I got. Because is that when the Galileo was the freebie, or
okay.
Is that right?
I don't know if that was first of the year or right at the end of the year. I don't remember. Did you get the one with the dragon with the beard?
The old dragon,
and then dragon guy.
Yeah, and then I got the CMF line, and I bought 4 6-packs, and for whatever reason, they were all a little bit different, but I got exactly 2 sets.
Interesting.
Score.
That's interesting.
That was wild.
Wow.
I was like, I opened the second box, and I'm like, crap, I got 2 doubles. So it wasn't even like I've done it before, and it was like the exact order, or if it was one off, it was exact same order but one off. So a robot is putting these things together, but maybe they pull a bag for quality control more often or whatever it was, but somehow I lucked out. So I got 2 goats and 2 of everything, and I'm happy with that. I'm happy having like one set to like kind of keep, and then one I can bash up into D&D players.
There you go. Lots of Harpy and Goat Herder and Bat Lord.
Bat Lord for sure.
And
the Barbarian.
And the Barbarian, yep. The Barbarian I only have one of, but I found quite a few Bat Lords.
Oh wow, that cape is so amazing. I almost didn't want to crease it.
Yeah. Yeah, the face is good too, and I can see that. I like the back.
Yeah.
That one. This one, he's got his mouth open. He's slightly more sinister. Come on.
Eyes are glowing.
Focus on him. There we go.
All the new shields, I'm liking it. They're kind of tweaking the dragon, tweaking the bat, I think.
The bat helmet's actually really good.
Yeah.
Kind of goes back. So yeah, he's a really cool figure, and of course the Goat Herder you need for the goats. And we talked last week, for anyone who was there, about your potential ability to identify some of those.
Oh, it was the hot dog truck that came out, I think, the first of the year, right?
Yes. Yeah, that was kind of an interesting one, because I think they showed a bunch of pictures of it alongside the museum. But then it didn't come out December 1st at the museum. It didn't come out till January 1st.
My brother, who still works at Brickmania doing their printing and print machine production stuff, told me one of their old designers, Mary, left, worked for Brickmania for a couple of years and then got a job at Denmark, and that's her first official designed set.
Okay,
So she has Minnesota connections.
there you go. And Monica says, hubby got the Lunar New Year dragon and the little Ninjago flying dragons. I didn't get any of those yet. And then the freebie dragon for Year of the Dragon. I do have the Lunar New Year auspicious dragon somewhere. Haven't built it yet, but it is a very attractive looking set. So maybe Mark and I will build that one instead. Who knows? I don't know if he got the auspicious dragon or not, but he definitely got that other space rover.
And I know those are official images, and I mean, it would be tough not to mention one of the leaks that kind of came out this weekend. If you're a Zelda fan, that's newsworthy, I think. And
yeah,
I don't know how official it is when they just list like set number and piece. I don't know if it's even piece count yet. I think it is.
Yeah,
apparently they're doing Zelda set this year.
Well, we've seen that one here. Let me see if I can pull up the one you're talking about. The one with the tree?
Yeah, yeah, they're calling it the Deco tree.
Whatever they're calling it here.
But, you know, so that says, yeah, Zelda. If you haven't heard, Echo Buns, Zelda, baby. It's coming September this year. That's what I think people get leaks of like just set numbers and titles and or just themes without proper titles, and that's all we know right now is that there is a tree, a Deco tree set coming soon. Whether that means minifigures, I think, is the next big question. And
it's one of those things where they've had so many ideas submissions for it. It's like, why would they not do it, especially with the Nintendo license? Why would they shy away from doing a Zelda set?
Right. They waited a while. They maxed out Mario fans, I think, right up to this new movie that just came out, and had the retro sets, the Super NES or the Nintendo and the TV set and all that good stuff. And I know they've been at least listening to people that wanted a Mario fig. So if they don't give us a link, minifig, whoo, or at least, like, I don't know what the scale of the tree is, but man, I mean, I almost think you have to. And I don't know what other
I've seen an image of it. I don't know
like,
if it's
how do you do the tree
and
that's it? Like, I haven't looked into it enough.
Here it is. Is this the one?
But that was pretty big news that I think I saw it just Friday and then was off for the weekend, and then
yeah, it's hard to know that if this is real or not. But anyway,
it's early. Yeah, it's not a leaked image. It's just a leak title.
So they have a number of leaks out there for them. So who knows? I think it's probably going to happen, especially when you know that Lego has the Nintendo license.
Yeah,
they're doing Animal Crossing. Why wouldn't they cash in on Zelda? They've pretty much got all the parts they need to make a Link already. You know, he's got a shield that already fits a minifigs type shield look, and he's got the hat with the ears, and they've already got that basically. They'll probably do a new mold for it, but they've already got it. So it's not like it's, you know, super difficult to make
hat, hair, ear combo thing. Yeah. We'll see.
So yeah,
that was kind of breaking news.
Echo/Eco Buns giving us lots of smiley faces and mind blowns with Zelda. I just bought a custom printed Link too. Well, I'm sure the custom printed fig is still cool. But we might have some official ones.
Superhero stuff gets me all the time. Ooh, that looks cool. There's Kate Bishop Hawkeye. Ooh, now I have it. An official one.
Yeah. And I think the best part about anytime we have Lego crossovers is we can get the Nintendo Tips from Mark section where he tells us how to play Mario or Zelda for 2 hours, which is always one of my favorite banners that we like to play. The other banner we always play when we're ending our show is this one, to remind everyone from Bob Ross: there are no mistakes, there are only happy accidents. And for anyone who wants to get into the mood, how are we going to close out the show this week? Well, I think we can do, let's do my favorite of the two.
You need a Bob Ross one.
Yeah, my favorite of the two Into the Blockle verses. So let's play this one. I love the here's better than any other one we've seen, because they're not just animated characters added in. They're like flat stickers with white outlines just playing in the pool. It's like, well, you don't get any minifigs, but you can pretend with sticker people. And the sticker people don't even come with the set. They're just, showing you like what you could pretend that these exciting friends are doing at the Cherry Vitality Beach.
Here's what you can do. Vitality water bar drink to your heart's content, which is definitely excellent grammar. Water curtain door. It opens. That's great. There's a leisure section.
You'd want it to do that.
There's a life-saving observation spot. There's a swim shop. Stand in the observatory to enjoy the breathtaking view. The exciting and funny water slide. Sit in the beach chair and enjoy sunbath.
Sunbath. Yep.
Yes, lockers.
But here's my favorite. The ice cream van, baby. That's a van.
Why is there a fish on it?
That is the coolest van I've ever seen. Yeah, what is that fish for? I have no idea.
Go into the shower room to wash the sand off your body.
Well, it's a good suggestion.
Ooh, look, they made different flag molds. Or they photoshopped in something and folded it.